I never thought my entire reputation, my sanity, and the love I believed in could all collapse because of one person I trusted the most. You know how people say love can either build you or destroy you? Well, in my case, it almost destroyed me completely. The woman I thought I'd spend my life with but turned everyone against me. She told everyone I had lost control. That I was unstable, obsessed, and dangerous. And the worst part, people believed her. But I didn't fight back with lies or anger. I decided to stay quiet, to let my actions speak. And in the end, that silence cost her everything she had built. So tell me, if someone destroyed your name and made the world see you as a monster, would you stay quiet? Or would you fight back in your own way? It all started 3 years ago when I met Clara. She was beautiful in a way that wasn't loud. She had this calm presence. The kind that draws you in without even trying. We met at a friend's art exhibition, and she was standing in front of a painting, completely lost in thought. I remember making a stupid comment about how the artist probably just spilled some colors and called it modern art. She laughed. This soft, melodic laugh that made me want to hear it again. We started talking, and before I knew it, we'd spent 2 hours walking through the gallery together. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers, and I couldn't stop smiling on the way home. It felt like something real, something different. Clara was ambitious. She worked in PR and communications for a fashion company, always surrounded by people, lights, events, and cameras. I was the opposite. I'm a freelance video editor. I like quiet spaces, details, and working behind the scenes. We balanced each other. For a while, everything was perfect. She pushed me to socialize more, and I helped her slow down, breathe, and find calm in small moments. We were that couple people envied. Always laughing. Always posting cute pictures. Always looking like we had it all figured out. But what people didn't see was how much Clara cared about image. How everything had to be perfect. Not just in photos but in life. Every fight would be her the victim. Every misunderstanding had to be justified by how emotional I supposedly was. At first, I brushed it off, thinking maybe I was overreacting. But it grew, small manipulations, twisting words, subtle guilt trips. If I forgot to text her during a long editing session, she'd post cryptic quotes about being unappreciated. If I expressed hurt about something she said, she'd tell me I was too sensitive. Slowly, I started questioning myself. Maybe I was too sensitive, maybe I did overact. About a year into the relationship, Clara started climbing the corporate ladder fast. She got promoted to a senior PR manager role and suddenly was working late nights, traveling for events, meeting new people. I was proud of her. Genuinely proud. But I started noticing changes. She became distant, always on her phone, always busy. She'd hide her screen when I came close. She started wearing perfume she never used before. Dressing up for work dinners that I wasn't invited to. My gut told me something was wrong. But I kept quiet because I didn't want to be the insecure boyfriend. Then came the night that changed everything. It was her birthday. I planned a small surprise dinner at her apartment. Candles, her favorite pasta, even a little slideshow of our pictures playing on the TV. I got there early. Let myself in with the key she gave me, and waited, but she was late, really late. Around 10 p.m., I heard the door open. And her laughter. Except it wasn't the tired laughter of someone coming home from work. It was flirty, loud, carefree. A man's voice followed, deep and casual. They walked in, still laughing, and froze when they saw me standing there. The color drained from Clara's face. The man was her boss. He awkwardly mumbled something about needing to discuss their numb. Clara started panicking, saying, "It's not what you think." But honestly, what else could it be? Her lipstick was smudged, his tie was undone, and her work bag was nowhere in sight. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I just looked at her and said, "You didn't even have the decency to lie better." Then I walked out. That night, I left her key on her counter and blocked her number. But the story didn't end there. 2 days later, I started getting messages from mutual friends. "Hey, are you okay? We heard you had a breakdown. Did something happen between you and Clara?" Confused, I asked what they meant. And that's when I found out. Clara had told everyone, including my clients, my friends, even my sister, that I'd lost it. She said I'd shown up drunk at her place, yelling, accusing her of cheating when she was just hosting a late-night work meeting. She painted me as an unstable, jealous man who couldn't handle her success. The lies spread fast. A few of my clients, who happened to know Clara through her industry, pulled away quietly. People stopped replying to my messages. Even my sister said, maybe you should talk to someone about your anger. I was furious but mostly heartbroken. Clara had taken everything, my peace, my name, my relationships, and turned them into tools for her narrative. And the worst part was, I had no proof to clear my name without dragging her through the mud. So I stayed silent. For months, I lived like a ghost. I worked little, barely went out. The betrayal haunted me, not because of love anymore, but because I couldn't understand how someone could lie so easily and still sleep at night. One night, I decided to scroll through social media, and there she was. Smiling, attending events, promoting brands, talking about empowerment and authenticity. It made me sick. But then I realized, she was her own biggest weakness. Clara's entire career was built on her image, her credibility, her supposed authenticity. If that ever cracked, everything would fall apart. So I didn't seek revenge. I sought truth, quietly. I started collecting things, screens, messages, old texts, photos, even timestamps from the night I caught her. I didn't plan to leak them or expose her online. I just wanted to have the truth, ready if the time ever came. And, as life would have it, that time came sooner than I thought. About 6 months later, one of my old clients reached out again. They wanted me to edit a short film for an upcoming charity gala. I said yes. When I arrived at the pre-event meeting, guess who was in the room? Clara. She was handling the PR for the event. The moment she saw me, her confident posture faltered. She smiled awkwardly, pretending to be cordial. I kept my cool, greeted her politely, and sat down. Throughout the meeting, I could feel her glancing at me nervously. She knew I wasn't the same broken man she had left behind. After the meeting, she approached me privately. Listen, she said softly, I know things got messy. I hope we can be professional here. I just nodded. Inside, I was calm, too calm. I didn't want revenge, but I knew she would eventually destroy herself, and I was right. During the gala preparations, she started making mistakes. Missing emails, confusing sponsors, showing up late to press calls. People started whispering that she was slipping. Then one day, her assistant, someone she constantly humiliated, came to me privately. She said, I know what she did to you. I used to hear her brag about it. She said she made everyone believe you were crazy. That was the moment I realized karma was doing its work. I didn't need to push. Just a little nudge. So I gave the assistant a copy of the text and timestamps from that night. Not to leak them publicly, but to share them with the event director. I didn't even mention Clara's name. I just said, I think there's a misunderstanding about someone's professionalism. You should see this. A week later, Clara was called in for an internal review. The brand hosting the gala didn't want any PR scandal tied to them. She was quietly removed from the project. And within months, word spread in the industry that she was difficult to work with. And reliable. No one knew the full story. No one except me. I didn't destroy her career. She did that herself by building it on lies. I just stopped protecting the image she'd created. So that's where I was. Watching from a distance as the woman who once lied about my sanity slowly unraveled under the weight of her own deceit. But before I tell you how it all ended, I want you to think about something. If you were in my place, and someone turned the world against you with lies, would you fight back loudly, or would you let time and truth take their course? Because for me, staying silent wasn't weakness, it was power. And it changed everything. Months later, I ran into Clara again. It was at a coffee shop downtown. She looked different, not the glamorous, polished version of herself I remembered, but tired, almost fragile. She saw me, hesitated, then walked over. Can we talk? She asked quietly. I agreed. We sat by the window and for the first time, she didn't have that defensive tone. She looked down and said, I know you probably hate me. I deserve it. Everything fell apart after that gala. People stopped trusting me. I lost my job. Her voice cracked. And I know it's my fault. I told lies because I didn't want people to know I messed up. I was scared. I didn't say anything for a while. I just looked at her and thought about how much power she once had over me, and how now she was just human. Broken, like I once was. Finally, I said, Clara, I don't hate you. I just hope you've learned that truth has a way of finding its way out, even when we try to bury it. She nodded, tears forming in her eyes. I did. I really did. Then she left. And that was it. No dramatic apology, no closure message later, just silence. The same silence that once hurt me, now setting me free. After that day, something shifted in me. I realized I didn't need revenge to heal. I didn't need to prove to the world that I was right. Because the truth had already done it for me, quietly. Over time, I started working again, really working. My projects picked up, my clients returned, and even my sister came around after realizing what really happened. Life didn't suddenly become perfect, but it became peaceful, and that was enough. Looking back now, I see how dangerous lies can be. Not just to the people they're about, but to the ones who tell them. Clara's downfall wasn't my doing, it was her own reflection catching up to her. And my redemption wasn't about making her pay. It was about reclaiming who I was before she broke me. People say silence is weakness, but sometimes silence is the loudest revenge. So that's my story. I'm not asking for pity, or praise, or sympathy. I just want people to know that not every battle has to be fought with noise. Sometimes the best way to win is to step back, let time do its thing, and trust that truth will eventually surface. Because it always does.